What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for La Liga Week 9 predictions. Now, this is probably the most popular series of Serie A, La Liga, and Bundesliga on the channel, with the last episode 8,000 of you watching. That is insane. And it was also the episode where we got the most correct scores of the week. We had Athletic Bilbao to beat Mallorca 2-1, and we had Real Betis to win away from home against Espanyol 2-1, as well as some other good tips in there. Both teams to score, Girona, Valencia as well. I thought the odds were very low for that. We had Real Madrid to win and both teams to score against Villareal at odds of 2.6, which is great. So we are back for some more La Liga action. Real quick, thank you so much for all the support on the channel. I said it in the Serie A video and the Bundesliga video, but we've had over 3,000 subscribers in the last month, which is awesome. And I'm considering, if we get to 40,000 subscribers by the end of October, to do an AFCON series when that rolls around. Just like this series was born out of reaching 30,000 subscribers. When we hit 40,000, I want to possibly give back to you. And I think maybe when we get to 50,000 is when I can introduce Europa League as well, because there's a lot of leagues and there's a lot that you guys want to see. So if you want to see more of that, please do click sub down below. Whilst you're down there, flashing up on the screen are all of the people that are supporting me over on the Patreon. If you want a shout out in every single video, as well as access to exclusive members, tips and accumulators, direct messaging access to me and all that good stuff, then check out that link in the description below to join the Patreon. Now, kicking it off with La Liga, we have Real Oviedo up against Espanyol. As I said, Espanyol, one of our correct scores last week, losing to Real Betis 2-1. Oviedo lost 2-0 at home to Levante. That is not good enough, and I think Espanyol are going to pounce on that. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Espanyol. The tip is Espanyol double chance and under 3.5 goals at odds of 1.66. After this, we have Sevilla up against Mallorca. Now, Sevilla, albeit Barcelona were slightly weaker in terms of their lineup, Sevilla absolutely battered them. Now, there was a point, it was 2-1, and Barcelona missed a penalty to make it 2-2 with about 50 minutes to go. And I think if Barcelona score that penalty, Sevilla might go a bit flat and Barcelona could have gone on to win that game. So it's weird that in a scenario where it was one penalty kick away from being possibly a Barcelona win, the game ended 4-1 to Sevilla, which is, I mean, frustrating for me, because obviously we thought Barcelona would win. So naturally, you want to get your prediction right. But Sevilla, brilliant result. Mallorca, we predicted them to lose to Bilbao, exactly 2-1, and it happened. I don't see how Sevilla beat Barcelona like that and then don't at home again beat Mallorca. So I'm going to say a 2-1 win, and I think the odds are more than good enough. Sevilla to win at odds of 1.85. It is now Barcelona, as we mentioned. They were undefeated all season and then losing again 4-1. So like I said, I think if they score that penalty and they go from being 2-0 down to 2-2 with 15 minutes to go, Barcelona do go on and win that game. But then obviously they're losing, they're chasing the game. Sevilla can get 2 stoppage time goals. It does flatter Sevilla a bit, but Sevilla were worthy winners of that. When I'm saying that Barcelona could have won if they scored the penalty, it doesn't mean they deserved it. But they were soundly beaten by Sevilla. And Girona beats Valencia 2-1. A really good result for them. Their first win of the season. It's a shame they can't string them together because they're going to Barcelona after they lost their first game of the season. So I'm going to say a 3-1 win to Barcelona. I thought about Barcelona and both teams to score. I'm going to go for over 3.5 goals at 1.66. I think there'll be some kind of retribution here. You know, Barcelona will want to score tons of goals, but who knows? If Girona go and win 3-1, 4-1 like Sevilla did, over 3.5 goals comes in. The odds aren't great, but I don't see how Barcelona don't come back with a vengeance and just score tons of goals here. So I'm going to say 3-1 to Barcelona. Following this is one of the most intriguing games of the week. I just want to have it probably is one of my favorite games of the week, I would say. It's Villareal up against Real Betis. So Villareal lost to Real Madrid 3-1. It was 0-0 at half time, but ultimately Real Madrid, they got ahead. It was 2-0, and then Villareal scored a potentially exciting consolation, but then Madrid added a third. Betis coming from behind to beat Espanyol 2-1. A brilliant win for them. They are 1 point behind Villareal. I have no idea which way this one's going to go, so I'm just going to shade it to home form and say 2-1, but the tip is going to be both teams to score at 1.66. Like I said, I don't see a world where these two teams don't score, so both teams to score is the tip. After this, it's Atletico Madrid up against Osasuna. Now, Atletico Madrid also trying to push up the table. They drew with Celta Vigo. Again, they're so hard to predict. You think they're going to win, and then, you know, they beat Real Madrid 5-2, and then they go and draw with Celta Vigo. But Osasuna got the win against Getafe like we predicted. I think Atletico Madrid win this one. I'm going to say 2-1. And the tip, it keeps the 2-0 on side. I hope it's not a 1-0 win to Atleti, because that would really annoy me, especially because the tip is Atletico Madrid to win and over 1.5 goals at 1.66. And the fact that that boosts these odds up so much suggests that they do think a lower scoring game, possibly a 1-0, is rather likely, but I think it'll be at least 2 or more goals. After this, it is Elche up against Athletic Bilbao. Now, Elche in the previous game week, I thought maybe they could continue this run against Alaves, but they lost 3-1. I mean, Elche, a brilliant start to the season, and then they go and lose to Alaves 3-1. So that is a bit of a question mark for me. Bilbao, you know, they were winless in 4, and we predicted them to win a game with the perfect score. So that's a really good result for them. I think Bilbao are going to string back-to-back wins, and Elche are going to string together back-to-back losses. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. Am I brave enough to go Bilbao to win? I wish I was, but I've gone very conservative again, because Elche have been quite hard to beat up until the last game week. The tip is Athletic Bilbao double chance and under 3.5 goals. I'm sorry. The odds are 1.53. I just think it's nailed on. That allows for 1-2, 3-0 Bilbao, 0-0, 1-1, 2-1. I don't see how it doesn't fall within one of those scorelines. So 1-0 to Bilbao it is. Now, speaking of value here, we have Celta Vigo up against Real Sociedad. As I said, Celta Vigo trying to stay in La Liga without winning a single game, and Sociedad doing their best as well to make it difficult for them. They are currently on 4 points, 5 points. I think it says they're on 5 points here, but I only see 4 here. I think there's probably another game there that they're now not showing because there's been, you know, enough games. So yeah, they would have drawn their first game. Celta Vigo, I mean, how do you predict them? It's just got to be a draw, hasn't it? They lost to Elche 2-1, but other than that, it's been 1-1 draws across the board, and every game has been both teams scoring under 3.5 goals. I'm going to go for it again. It's going to be another 1-1 draw, and the tip again is going to be both teams to score and under 3.5 goals at 3. And obviously Sociedad haven't drawn in their last 6 games, so maybe it'll be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, even when Celta Vigo lost, it was still BTTS and under 3.5, and that is just phenomenal value every week to get on Celta Vigo, so I'm going for it. After this, it's Levante up against Rayo Vallecano. Again, a difficult one. Levante perhaps turning the corner a little bit, drawing with Getafe, beating Oviedo. Vallecano beating Sociedad. I don't know how to go for this one. I'm just going to go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw. I did consider a Levante 2-1 home win, but I do think Vallecano are better than Levante, right? And I know they've pretty much identical seasons, so maybe 2-1 Levante would be smarter off the back of a good win against Oviedo, but I'm just going to go 2-2. The tip is going to be both teams to score at odds of 1.7. After this, we have Getafe up against Real Madrid. Real Madrid now outright top of the league thanks to Barcelona's loss against Sevilla. I don't see a world in which they don't win this one. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Real Madrid, and this is definitely my tip of the week. This is just phenomenal value. The tip is Real Madrid -1 handicap at odds of 2.2. A simple little 2-0, and I don't think Getafe would be too disappointed with that. I don't know why the odds are so high, but Real Madrid -1 handicap looks really good. That's what I'm going for at odds of 2.2. After this, the final game, it is Alaves up against Valencia. Valencia are so tough, man. They're a good team, but they are just underperforming. And then Alaves go and beat Elche 3-1 after not winning in 3 games. I'm going to go for a draw. Valencia should be beating Alaves, but how can I say that? However, I do think the odds are very good for both teams to score. They're above evens at 2.05, and I think Valencia are always good for conceding a goal, and it's indicative of how poor they've been this season. They are better than this. They won't get relegated, but come on, man. They should be winning this. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. So that does it. There is a summary of my picks. A very entertaining week. Like I said, pick of the week, I think, has to be Real Madrid at -1 handicap. It's one of my highest odds picks, and for me, it's one of the most nailed on of the week. So that is going to do it for La Liga predictions. If you did enjoy this video, please do drop a like, subscribe down below so you don't miss another video. We've got Premier League coming up on the channel very soon. That is going to do it from me, and I'll see you in that next video very soon.